And welcome to Let's Fly VFR. Today we're heading for a flight from Miami down to sunny Marathon International Airport, KMTH. It's about 100 nautical miles, the flight, and I've got to tell you, it's one of the most amazing flights I have ever flown, I believe. So come with me and let's have a bit of a look at this magnificent scenery as we taxi out in the Baron 58 from Signature FBO and here's the settings I'm currently using in VR, guys. So 2600 with a 2060 Super, just so you have a bit of a reference. And we go Miami down to basically North Largs there, or North Key Largo, and down to Key Largo, and just basically following the islands down. And this truly is amazing. This is the Florida HD scenery, and it is just amazing. So we're just going to taxi around here, pull up and do a quick engine run up for both of the nice big, I think, Lycoming engines most likely, but we'll get these checked out. Really trying to get used to using the hand controllers and getting the flying a little bit more realistic, which was something I intended originally with the channel, and it's probably drifted a bit from that, so we're heading back that sort of way once I get a bit more comfortable with using the controllers in VR, because they're a little sensitive at times. I'll be looking to operating radios and all the other things as well manually, is what I would like to be doing. So we'll get these checked. Now I'll run it up to about 1700 RPM. Now that's always a problem hitting the starter when you're using the controllers, but with a bit of practice I'm sure that'll get better. So just using 1700 RPM and then just switching between the mags to make sure that we get a bit of a mag drop, and making sure they don't cut out, to make sure that everything is working as advertised. Now I've still got two switches, and you'll note them glowing in front of us there that I haven't made yet, but I'll get those momentarily. Looking all clear, few clouds around today, up around about the 4,500 foot mark, the clouds. So we might run into some of those on the way down. Let's taxi out. Now I am using the VR Oculus Tray tool, and I've got I think about 1.2 on the super sampling on there, and that's really making the whole cockpit experience just so much better. Get the engine run up, and away we go towards the beautiful buildings. And one of the things that really gets me here is the water. Let's get the speed up as we get to rotate and climb away. Get that gear away fairly quickly. Gear coming up. A real delight to fly this Baron 58. We're heading, essentially we're heading, let's see, east, and we'll go out over Miami City itself, then we'll turn right and head south. Now I'm going to put in a lot of timestamps, so if you want to jump between different particular areas, there's a few points of interest certainly. Feel free to jump around, have a look at different stuff, come back to anything else that you'd like to see. Get some good altitude here, and we'll see how this all pans out. But it's just amazing scenery, this Florida area. You guys that live here, very lucky. It's just beautiful. We get some good altitude. A lot of this I'm just manually doing the navigation on. Have found some difficulties. I've made flight plans, but this is the 430 GPS, and I'm having trouble working out how to load a flight plan into it, so I've had to do it manually. The 530s, I think it is, the newer model, that has an FMS button, and you can push the button, then very quickly upload a flight plan in that, which you would have seen on my instructional video I've got on that one. This climbed out. Got a good rate of climb on this as well, and it does like to fly fast. Generally you can just sit up around the 160, 170 knots. Just bring the props back and the RPM back a little bit, and just cruises. But you do have to be careful on approach and lean to make sure you don't get slow. It slows very quickly. Once you get the flaps and the gear down, it just wants to stop. Flying out over the water, and the inlet there, it's just beautiful, isn't it? That watercolouring is amazing. So we're heading down towards, now I think it's Key North, that island area, and we're just going to follow the string of islands. I can't believe that there's a road all the way down these islands, guys. That is some engineering. So we get out over the outside of Florida. Now we're going to be doing a whole range of flights, I think, discovering the whole state. It is a very big state, so we'll be looking around that. There's lots of really good quality airports that have been created, and we'll be looking at its flights between some of those as well. If you haven't got this one, it's at 170,000 square kilometres of scenery. You can get SD and HD versions. System requirements, it recommends 16 gig of RAM, a 1070, X-Plane 11.35 or later, which this certainly says 51 release 1, I think it is, and an i7 or higher, but that's fine. Downloaded 43 gig and takes up about 126 gig once it's all installed. Certainly some of the main things that are available, we've got Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, and a few other places that have been created and handcrafted. It seems to be the catchphrase of recent times with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Everything is handcrafted. A lot of work's gone into creating the scenery. It's just amazing. You're just heading down, following the coast initially, and we'll probably have to deal with those clouds as we continue to climb. Want to get a bit of decent altitude. We've got Cape Canaveral there is also there on the Orlando theme park, so gonna have to have a bit of a run through and have a look and see what they look like from the air. There's a lot of hand-placed bridges, skyscrapers, castles even, piers, monuments. So there's a lot to discover around this beautiful country that you guys have in the United States. Just coming up through a cloud break, get up a bit more altitude. But there's too much cloud around. I'm going to enter into a little bit of IFR, I think, just for a short period. Probably end up above the clouds. Then we'll have to descend back down through them. Just amazing. Heading into the clouds. They're not very thick, so it's not too bad as we climb up through them. And it's this swirling that you see there that I find that really disorientating, even in the sim, you know. Just got to be really careful. But we get out of it fairly quickly as they blow by. And there's plenty of holes for us to send back down through as well. And come out through the other side of the cloud bank. We're just essentially heading south, just following the reef down. You can see the map there. Hope my head movement doesn't make any of you guys feel unwell. And the downloading of the Oculus tray tool is been a real revelation, being able to have that start automatically coming into Windows and then having all the settings set there. I'm still having a bit of a play with the ASW. I think they have the ASW on at the moment, which is working well, because in the past when I've tried it, it's made me stomach cringe a little bit for whatever reason. As we head further south, So sort of moving around the clouds, just learning how to use these controllers with the Oculus Rift 2, manipulating instruments and heading bugs. I want to get to the point of manually operating all the radios and things as well as we go on, so we've got hopefully be able to get better at that as time goes on. We just check all the instruments, make sure everything's going well. And there are failures turned on, so I'm conscious that things could happen. Getting used to using the autopilot down there on that center console. So we're maintaining the engines at about, I think it was about 2700 RPM. That's what we had there. A few banks of clouds, but not providing any sort of difficulty. And I'm just amazed at that water. That green water is just something I haven't seen previously. With default scenery, certainly. And even in Microsoft Flight Simulator, we've seen some photos of that, and I think they've particularly done that on a couple of islands. If you find them, we'll just zoom the map out a little bit, just checking for where we want to go. You can see where we're heading there. If you haven't done this yet, you can use the thumb controller to zoom in and out, and you can just use the trigger to grab the map and move it. So it's very easy. Just come through another cloud bank, and this is an F-111 out to the right of us. I don't know why it picks an F-111. A few aircraft around. I've got to say I haven't seen any other aircraft while flying around. We've got all the roads down there to the left, so we've always got somewhere to land. That's convenient. And I still can't imagine how you could put a road all the way down here. Must be lots. There's amazingly long bridges that have been created here. And this would be beautiful, but probably terrifying once you get some bad weather happening, hurricanes and things coming through. There's our destination. And you can see just ahead of us there, as I look around, you can see in the distance there, just above the cowling, you can see the airport that we're about to arrive at. But let's have a quick turn left and just take in the scenery. Must have taken some work to build that bridge. So flying down there, I had my jaw hanging for the most of it. It's just amazing. We'll just continue our circuit, and then we'll head down to the airport, and we will descend, do a circuit, and hopefully make an impressive landing for you. If you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to see more content like we are having here today, flying around the countryside, primarily in X-Plane 11. I do some DCS, and we do some Microsoft Flight Simulator flights, but I think the X-Plane 11 is probably going to be the place that I'll focus on. That's where I've been for the last few years with the channel. So if you're into X-Plane 11 and all things that go with that, please feel free to subscribe. Hit that bell notification thing. If you're looking for any help or stuff for your sim, come and visit letsflyvfr.com. Lots of information and items there that you can purchase, and with that you can support the channel, which would be really appreciated. Okay, coming in over the top of the town. So this is Florida Keys Marathon International Airport, KMTH. It's a really well modelled airport too. There's a lot of stuff here as we get the gear down again. clouds are not looking too bad, and the water looks amazing as well. And bring it round onto base and then onto final. Okay, clearing the inbound, clearing the runway as we turn on to final. Gears down, flaps around. Get ourselves stabilised and lined up. A nice bridge there on the left. Lots of buildings here. It's very well populated. A little bit of movement. There's a little bit of wind today, just pushing us around a little bit. The one thing that I really love about X-Plane is the weather engines and the reaction with the aircraft. Okay, got the nose just a little up. Being careful with the speed, trying to maintain it around that, not getting down towards 80 because it stops really quickly when you do that. Focusing on the horizon, nose up, just holding it, backing off on the throttle. We have a little touchdown, and we're doing the fighter landing, holding the nose up for a bit of aerodynamic braking. A few jets there on the left. Okay, rolled out, and we'll turn left and taxi back up to the FBO. Certainly lots of cars, aircraft, buildings here. It's very well put together. You're on Borrow a Learjet. As we taxi, so I hope you enjoyed that little flight from Florida down to Marathon International Airport, KMTH. Just amazing, and I hope you enjoyed the Orbx Florida scenery that we've used on the way down here. We got taxied in, lots of Cessnas and another couple of Barons. Let's go park next to the other Barons. Okay, get a certain nose around. So if you've got Orbx scenery and you've got something you really think is amazing, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you what you're using, and we will shut this one down. So subscribe, like, and let's catch you back here again at Let's Fly VFR again real soon for X-Plane and Let's Fly VFR. Catch you then.